Hello and welcome to the Podawakens presents Chronological Clone Wars, presented by the Logjam Media Podcast Network. My name is Jordan. With me on his first watch of the Clone Wars as a whole is Logan. How are you, Logan?
I'm good, Jordan. I was out on a firework cruise yesterday at Magic Kingdom because one of our family friends invited us, which was really awesome. And I was out there, and Jordan, I didn't see any of the Mon Cala people. Didn't see anybody come up, or didn't see any Gungans. I was kind of disappointed, to be honest with you. Now, I will admit I wasn't going to get into the water and find out because there's
And that's why.
alligators, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know what the alligators are feeling. I don't know if they're separatist or part of the republic. Like I didn't care to ask. I think they'd be separatist though. But
Yeah, my thought is that maybe there isn't any gators in there right now. Maybe it's all Mon Cala and Quarren and Gungans, and that's why they don't want you in the water.
that might be it. That's that. You know what? That's why they put those signs up. I bet they
Yeah,
don't want you. They
they're
don't
in the
want you figuring
middle
that out,
of a literal water war.
right? Yeah, and those Discovery Island, like I'm pretty sure they're keeping like the Jedi Ghost are there or something. Like there's
You
something
look
going on.
over, you see like
Obi-
Anakin, Vader, and yeah, Anakin,
Watching
Obi-Wan,
the
and Yoda.
fireworks. But yeah, no, Jordan. I love it. I love living here because I can go and immerse myself. Which I keep saying that each podcast, and each podcast keeps going on where I haven't been back to the parks, but I just need to go and spend like when I was vlogging. There was one day because I was doing the if you haven't done the new it's like the bounty finding the
Yeah,
bounties
yeah.
and Galaxy's Edge, easily one of my favorite things I've ever done at the parks. But that day, man, I just immersed myself in Galaxy's Edge. So I definitely need to go back and see if anything's changed, especially with the game. I feel like there's been some changes or something. So,
Yeah, re-immerse yourself.
all right. May the force be with you. Yeah, our family friends are taking their kids. They've got two boys. They're going to go make lightsabers. So
Oh, nice.
that'll be fun.
It was fun. I was in a room full of kids.
Did you kill them? Did you
Once I
Anakin
turned
them?
on the saber, yes, I did.
I figured. Yeah. What color is your saber? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Blue.
Of course you did.
I need to get a new blade though, actually, because my blade is burnt out in the middle. But you can get replacement blades. But I also have bought every other color of the crystal, so I can actually change mine out, and I have every color
I would
except
definitely do the
black,
same.
because you have to get like the red crystal and then open it up, and it's a chance of being black. So
Oh, really? I didn't know
yeah,
that. That's fun.
yeah, you can watch some videos of people opening up and getting like the black crystal and all that stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, so we are talking about a water war, not the water war Logan was involved in, but a different one. Here we have Water War, Gungan Attack, and Prisoners. And the Disney Plus synopsis for Water War was the Republic must help a young heir reclaim his ocean world. Gungan Attack, the Jedi and Mon Cala prince must evade capture. And Prisoners, Prince Lee Char attempts to unite the people of Mon Cala. And these were written by Jose Molina, and they were directed in the order of Dwayne Dunham, Brian Kalin O'Connell, and Danny Keller. And they premiered September 16th and 23rd on the Cartoon Network of 2011. Yeah, so I guess let's just start off with your thoughts here, because you kind of teased it last week that like IMDb has these maybe rated a little lower, and that you had these maybe rated a little higher.
Yeah, so these three episodes this week and the next week's episodes, the three, were ranked like six or like right at seven, like below seven, and then I think these were higher than the next three that we're gonna do. But this stretch of six are like the lowest rated ones that I've seen on IMDb for Clone Wars, and I actually really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was very different. Jordan, I think there must be some kind of weird hatred that if the Gungans show up, then that means the episode sucks. Which honestly, Jar Jar had a redeeming bit or role in this episode for me because I'm not the biggest Jar Jar Binks fan,
Mm-hmm.
but he redeems himself here. I think, and I think in Clone Wars, I think that was what George's intention was because he was either really well received or you really just didn't like him. He's a very divisive character, but But no, I thoroughly enjoyed these episodes, which I was kind of bummed because it's like, oh man, these are ranked really low, these next six. So I hope it doesn't lose my interest so much. And I was tuned in the whole time, like, this is interesting. Like, I love the way it kind of feels. Very, very Mufasa like, having the father killed, and kid has to take over and has no idea what to do, and kind of run away from the problems.
Yeah, there is a 3 episode arc in season 5 that loses me. It's literally it's actually 4 episodes. They're pretty ranked low, but it's an R2 episode where he teams up with other droids.
Oh, okay.
They're rated pretty low in here, but yeah, the next 2 after these, well, yeah, we have a 3 episode arc coming up here. Actually, I think the next 2, I think it's a 2 episode arc, and then there's one that's a standalone that we're getting next time.
Hmm.
But yeah, so let me tell you, there's a 4 episode arc that's coming up that is one of the highest rated of the show, and just from like I always heard people talk about it, and it is on IMDb ranked pretty high. Um, yeah, I mean, um, for me, these episodes are fine. Like, I think I probably found it more interesting the first time I watched it than on this rewatch. Um, but yeah, so mainly what the main plot here, right, is that the king of Mon Cala, Mon Calamari, um, has died, and the Quarren are not accepting the son, um, as the replacement. They want one of their own species to be king, and it creates this kind of like Cold War for a bit here until things really kick off. But they're kind of egged on by the separatists, right? That's kind of the main thing here. Is the separatists are trying to use this as like a proxy war to, and not the proxy war Nelson Peltz tried on Disney, but like a different proxy war here, where they are trying to back the Quarren to try to get this as another separatist system, even though this has been a republic system for a long time. That is their play in this 3 episode arc, and why they are trying to do this, and what they would hope, right? What the separatists are trying to do, or I guess maybe the separatists. I don't know for sure if they're the ones trying to do this, or if this is um a thing that Riff is trying. We have a character named Riff who is like a shark guy, and we learn that in like the third one, he is trying to he's going to become the leader of the planet once the Quarrens were to take it over with the separatists. That kind of helps the Quarrens be like, whoa, we're not getting anything that we want here, and kind of flip back and talking to actually like the prince, figuring out, oh, okay, yes, we're going to back the prince again. We're gonna stay with the Republic. That's kind of the arc of the Quarren on this episode. Where we kind of start off though is that the king has died, right? The Quarren are not accepting the son. That's all in the beginning, like narration part, and we kind of start with the Jedi having to go to this planet and try to keep it as a Republic planet and protect the prince. We get to see Admiral Akbar as a captain in these batches of episodes, and the prince does fully trust Akbar. And I feel like one thing I think that they do in this show, Logan, that I think might help either kids or people that are not as deep in the weeds as someone like me and stuff, is give us a character that people recognize and
Hmm.
kind of have them be like the voice that we're supposed to trust, right? So like if you
Yeah.
see Admiral Akbar as a captain and he's telling the young prince something, you're thinking, yes, I trust Akbar actually has the right reasons to do this. We never saw Akbar do like a power play in the original trilogy or anything. So in my opinion, I think the Clone Wars and George and Dave and all these people that worked on it would be like, how can we get the audience to kind of trust something? Let's get a character that they already know and trust and kind of tell them, hey, you're going to know me later on in this universe. The way that we tell stories is not chronologically at all in Star Wars. So here I am beforehand, but trust me, trust the words I'm going to say, because I felt like Akbar was kind of leading the prince into um, that type of territory where viewers might be able to know who to trust with Akbar.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think, um, yeah, there's definitely times where I think characters are presented as like that trustworthy, like Kit Fisto and them seem to be, um, Plo Koon, like they seem to be voice of reasons, and I think you need that. Otherwise, you get like curmudgeons like Mace Windu, just a bratty old, grumpy, crotchety old man. Sorry. Every time I see him, it makes me so mad. But yeah, I is he is Akbar? He's the one that says it's a trap, right? Because he says
Yes.
something similar to that in this episode. It has that same carry.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
hilarious. It's like, or it's an attack or something like that. I was like, whoa, he's the one that says it's a trap. So
Yes, he
that's great.
is most notably in Return of the Jedi as the admiral in that movie, leading the attack on Death Star 2, while our characters are on Endor taking down the shields. Um, yeah,
That's
so
one of
that's
the
what
most
he's
famous
like.
lines in Star Wars. Like people still to this day use it for like fantasy teams, and it's a
Yeah,
trap.
you can use it for a lot of things because you can like make parody versions of it.
Yeah.
Like there's what I think somebody has one as it's a wrap, and
Hmm.
it'll be like people posted under like a picture of like a an actual like chicken wrap or something.
Yeah.
Like people use it for everything. Anything that rhymes with trap,
Yeah.
people will use that meme. Yeah, one of the most famous things. I think it's just all because of the delivery
It
of the way
is.
that Akbar speaks, but it's
Yeah.
so funny. And yeah, I feel like the Clone Wars crew are always bringing back here. We had Chewbacca last week come back in an episode. Um, I kind of like the way that they do that. I know sometimes people think it makes the world feel small because you're like, oh, we just happen to stumble upon this character. This one fits very well though because he was like, this is his planet.
Yeah.
This is his planet. All right, we see him before he's an admiral. That's all really cool to me.
Yeah.
We also had something that made this episode really great for me is Kit Fisto is in this arc here
Hmm.
because um, he is another species that lives underwater. So seeing him underwater, like shirt off, he's got the
His
saber
hair.
going, his
Yeah.
hair, yeah, he is so cool. I
He
was
is.
very happy to see him pop up.
Yeah, we need a Kit Fisto spinoff, man. Give me some Kit Maritime. I love that this planet is called Calamari. I
Yeah,
was like, this is by far the funniest thing. And then I was looking during the notes, and there's other spins on like sea things here. So one of them, what was it? It was hilarious. I was reading. Oh, Kit Fisto's gunship. Or sorry, no. Lee Char's name was a reference to the mascot of Starkist Tuna, Charlie the Tuna.
oh
Like,
my god, that's great.
I was like, that's so funny. But yeah, I love
Kit
reading like the
Fisto is another play here. His species is a nautilin,
yeah.
as in like a nautilus,
Hmm.
yeah, all that great stuff. There's tons of great play with them. But yeah, you said the separatists. We have the separatists helping the Quarren. Ahsoka arrives in this battle. Right, it originally starts off with like Anakin and all that. Ahsoka has to come in. She has to like stop Riff from attacking Lee Char. She's got her lightsaber out in the water. I really like seeing them like in the water or in space, like using their sabers. I think it's always really cool seeing it in a different setting.
Yeah, Riff Tamson, man, he was giving me Bruce vibes from Finding Nemo. It's like, all right, he is easily the best what is he, an admiral? I forget his title, but he's easily one of the best as far as leaders in the Separatists. Because I felt like this whole episode he had the upper hand. Like it didn't feel like they had control of the situation at all.
Yeah, Riff Tamson. I don't know. He's got a. I'm pretty sure that is a play on a name as well. Let's see. I don't know. It doesn't say anything in these notes on here like I thought it
Oh,
would.
this is cool. Tamson's death was a homage to the 1975 film Jaws,
Yes.
in which the titular shark is killed when Chief Martin Brody shoots an air tank lodged in the creature's jaw. Whoa! They ruined Jaws for me. It's so cool reading these, though, man. Like, this is what I always find fascinating, and I know we talk about this quite a bit, but just like the writers and like what what really influences them when they're writing some of this stuff. Like that Mon Calamari might be the funniest thing I've ever seen as far as Star Wars is concerned. Very serious.
Yeah, it is funny that is there. So I think the planet is actually Mon Cala, but when you
Yeah.
have like Akbar and Lee Char are Mon Calamaris, which are you know really funny. We have the Quarren, which is the other species on the planet, but then we also get the Gungans coming into the battle here. Jar Jar wants to help. He's like, hey, let's actually like we've had help from people. Why don't we help people? And he goes and gets the Gungans, and yeah, there was a really great exchange between Lee Char and Ahsoka here that I really like too, where she says, "You don't have to carry a sword to be inspiring,"
Hmm.
and he says, "How can I inspire them if they think I'm dead?" At this point, they think maybe he had died, and he's separated from everybody. Ahsoka's the only one with him in this, but it's kind of that exchange between the two of them, because I think that is something that really I think plays. Maybe I'm reaching here, but a little bit into Ahsoka's life too. Like I said, everybody always thinks she's going to die in this show because she's not in the sequel, in the original trilogy. So it's almost like her as well. Like, how can I inspire people if they think I'm dead? She comes back, later. I think nowadays everybody knows she does not die in this show. She appears in other shows later, but it's just I thought kind of a pretty interesting thing, but also just interesting in Lee Char. Like he wants to be a leader, right? He does. He doesn't want. Sometimes you have these characters who are like they're supposed to be the leader and they don't want to be, but
Hmm.
he does. He just doesn't know how to do it yet at this point, and he's learning from people like Ahsoka, people like Akbar, on how to be a leader for his people. And I think that's a very interesting story because at the end of this 3 episode arc, we do see him take up that mantle, right? And he is the king. He becomes the king of Mon Cala, and he really has earned it, I think, at that point. But at the end of this episode, the prince and Ahsoka are the only ones really left, as Anakin and Jar Jar get surrounded. Kit Fisto gets surrounded. Like all these people are going to get captured, hence the name prisoners for the last episode here. And this is where we have Riff Tamson. Um, like you said, he's gonna die in this one. But we have the princes in hiding with Ahsoka while the army is captured. The prince wants to reunite the Quarren and the Mon Cala, and he gets a message out to the Quarren leader while he's arguing with Riff, and he's like, "Hey, look, like we can reclaim our homeland together. We do not have to have this shark guy just take over our planet." And at this point, the Quarren are very disillusioned with Riff because he has kind of let it, out that he's going to be the leader. So at this point, the Quarren are like, we're not getting anything that we had originally wanted or anticipated. Why don't we go and get back to him? And there's a point uh, where Lee Char is getting ready to face off with Riff, and a Quarren whispers in his ear, like, our people are with you. And at that point, he knows he has the backing of pretty much everybody on this planet. But Riff has scheduled the public execution of the prince. And this is kind of one of the things that I think had turned also the Quarren onto his side. But they win the battle, they win the war. Like you said, it's a homage to Jaws when we get Riff's death. Hopefully, there's no Jaws 2 where Riff returns, but
Oh, I'm on a roll here today.
but yeah. So I don't know. Very interesting arc. What else stood out to you on these 3 episodes?
So Jar Jar's redemption for me here was when it's in the Gungan Attack, and he's sitting with the Gungan High Council, and they're like, "Can you please help us? Like, we need help." And he's kind of like I forget that what the leader's name is, but he's like, I don't know. It doesn't sound like something for us. And then it's quickly that Jar Jar goes, I mean, they're our good friends Padme. Like, we should probably help them because they helped us. And right away he goes, I think it's a good idea. We should probably help. It's kind of like like a Jedi way almost. Of
Like a Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, it was wild. It was funny though because they're like, okay, yeah, I can see what you mean, Jar Jar, which was really funny. I thought that was good. But I don't know. I just really like this episode. I love Lee Char. I think I was reading some of his backstory. So obviously you may have read this, but like he's got like I think it's Age of the Empire where he, I guess he's got a huge part. Or he plays a huge role in going against Vader and the Three Inquisitors, which is wild. Like I'm just reading like some of his backstory on Wikipedia, and I saw that he's got like a massive role, and Vader goes there to try to deal with him because he's so influential, which is interesting to me. But it looks like it's a comic book because it looks.
Yeah, it does look like a comic book, huh?
So I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, it looks like it's a different story. It's definitely, I imagine, after Clone Wars because it has what he looks like in Clone Wars. So I was like, I wonder what that
Well,
is.
some of it's during the Empire, yeah.
Because it's not coming
Yeah.
up in the show, is it? Like,
No. I think that's the only time he appears in the show. But still cool that he has, I like that the comics will sometimes reuse characters like this instead of just creating their own. It's like, yeah, we have a king that we can kind of do a cool story about, and if you're it's like using the real. It's like using the world that already exists for Star Wars to. Yeah, there's all these characters. There's all these planets. Sometimes you don't have to create a new planet. Use
mm-hmm.
a planet that already because how many planets are in this galaxy, right? Like, sometimes you just use a planet that already exists and tell a great story. So yeah, it looks like he goes through quite the story after this as well. I'll have to find what comics those are and maybe read them. Give us some more.
Like
Maybe
he goes
next week
toe
he
to
can
toe with
tell us
Vader.
more info.
You just say he's like going toe to toe with Vader and the Three Inquisitors. Like that's shoot. Like that's no joke. If Vader's visiting you, he doesn't spend his time dealing with.
Well, Anakin maybe has a soft spot for this guy because he helped
That's
him
true.
in the
Well, a
past.
soft spot. He goes visiting, take him out maybe, but
Yeah.
but yeah, no. I really did like this episode though. Like anytime Kit Fisto shows up though, like
Yeah, he's my man. He's awesome.
I thought they were gonna kill him. I'm not gonna lie. And I was like, wait, no, he doesn't get killed here. Like,
Yeah, no.
no,
Where did they show him? They show him dying
I can't remember.
in. Oh yeah. He dies at the hand of Palpatine like a chump.
Oh, that's right. Because he's fighting with somebody else, and he just kind of.
Well, it's like that. When they all show up to arrest Palpatine.
Oh yeah, and they throw Mace out the thing, and then
Yeah,
kills them both by themselves.
George
Like
was listening in and stole that from me and my friend Jimmy. Yeah, where he
I can't believe.
pushes
Yeah,
Mace out the window.
Mace Windu.
Um,
Window.
But no, so I always say this a lot. I don't know if I've said it on here before. Maybe last time Kit Fisto showed up, but there was the novelization of the books would always come out like a month or more before the movie. So as an avid reader in 8th grade, I got the Revenge of the Sith book by Matthew Stover. And in that book, I would read it during class, and I remember sitting there reading it in class after everybody finished. Like, I finished my quiz or test or whatever, and they're like, "You can read." I'm like, "All right, I'll sit here and read," so I'm not bored out of my mind. And I got to the part where they go and confront Palpatine, and it's the same characters from the movie that go: Kit Fisto, Stacey Tin, I believe Agent Kolar, Mace Windu. I might be missing somebody. They all go in there to confront Palpatine. And in the book, Palpatine still takes them down, but not as fast as he does in the movie. But when Anakin, it then changes perspective to like Anakin following, like, I already loved Kit Fisto at this point, by the way. So Anakin is following Mace to go and like confront and be like, "Oh no, I gotta help them." Like, he's told to stay, and like he has this whole chapter of like, "No, I gotta go help them. If he's facing a Sith, I gotta go help Mace." And he goes in there determined to help the Jedi, which I think is a great point of view, because in the movie you don't get that. He goes in there to help the Jedi, and as he's walking in, on like Palpatine's desk or on some sort of desk is Kit Fisto's severed head. And Mace and Palpatine have continued their battle into other sections of like Palpatine's office, and like they're not right in sight, but it's like Anakin walking by is like, "Oh shit, Kit Fisto's already dead." Like, his head is mounted on this desk, which shocked me as a thing, but I also thought that was pretty cool. That like, oh yeah, look, his head is just like on the desk. I'm like 13 years old reading this in school, but I remember sitting in class, it was science class. I'm reading this book, and I'm like, man, this is great stuff. And we get to the movie, and I'm like ready for it, because just like I said, like a month, and it happens like this, and no severed head on the desk, and I'm like, damn, the book was better.
Yeah, that's
so for me,
probably a little too graphic.
I do recommend people reading the book, though. I really did enjoy the Revenge of the Sith novelization. It's pretty darn good.
A similar fate to Ned Stark.
Yes. But no, it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend reading those.
So Jordan, are you hinting to me for your birthday you want a Kit Fisto head that you can put on your desk?
Life size? That'd be cool.
That would be cool, wouldn't it? Like, why do you have a... What is that? Like, haven't you heard?
And I don't mean this desk. I mean like my work desk.
Right, that's what I meant. Oh, 100%.
People in the office walk by like, what the hell is this?
Especially because he's one of the best looking characters, easily. Like,
yes, they nailed the design.
Yeah, and there's like concept art, Jordan, that might even be even better. Like, it's very cartoon, but it's very like so badass. Like, it's just...
I mean, look at him. He looks great in Star Wars Weekends too.
Looks great, man.
I like when I saw they had him in Star Wars Weekends. I probably seemed like the biggest nerd. My wife had only known me for 2 years at this point. We weren't married yet, but you know, I'm like, oh my god, Kit Fisto, and I'm like pulling out like it is like the Glup Shido meme that everybody shares of like the most obscure character, and I'm like, oh my god, look at that. She was probably like, what is this guy? Like, she didn't know, like, her face. She's like, what am I doing? Who is this guy?
Right. Who's this guy? And it is funny because, like, I imagine that you know, people have partners out there that they're watching through Star Wars for the first time, and there's probably just, you know, characters that you've talked about for so long, or you've got, you know, like one of my favorites, Babu Frick of the Newers, and you would be like, who the hell is that? Like, if you introduced Babu Frick to somebody and then you made them watch all through Star Wars, they would be so confused. They would be like, so what? And even Kit Fisto, like, if you just watched the movie, she'd be just so confused. You're like, why do you like this guy?
Like, the guy that's in 2 scenes? You're like, yeah.
Like a chump.
Well, you know what really made me enjoy him was in episode 2 when he force pushes 3PO. So, like, you know, when 3PO gets the wrong head on.
Yeah.
Kit
And
Fisto
he's
is the
just
one
like,
that force pushed on smiling. He's like
yes.
having the best time. He's like,
Yeah.
ha ha!
Yeah.
Force pushed a protocol droid on a battle
Right.
droid's body.
With everybody shooting at me.
Yes.
That's my favorite thing about the Jedi, though. Besides, I guess Obi-Wan and
But they
Qui-Gon,
actually
everybody
enjoy
else
it.
looks so happy. Yeah, everybody always looks so
Yeah.
happy when they're going.
The
But man,
worst war in history is kicking off, and they're like, "This is great.
this
I'm
is so
loving this."
fun. Although Obi-Wan, like younger Obi-Wan through Phantom Menace, he always looks so sweaty and distraught. Like he just looks so pissed off at the world. And I get it. Like, I don't know, he's trying to prove
Yeah.
himself. But he's I mean Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson, I don't think has ever like smiled.
Even then, he goes up and holds the thing at Jango's head. He's like, "This party's over." Like he
Yeah.
had, like, that's a Lando line.
Yeah.
That is a Lando Calrissian line. Like, this party's over.
Yeah. See, I always
But
wished.
Mace said it so funny.
Yeah, I always wish we got more of that. Which we, like we're getting stories of like when Solo's younger, and but I don't know. I think like a Kit Fisto when he's younger would be cool, or some of these Jedi. If they were
Yeah,
younger.
have you seen Solo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I liked it. I wasn't my
Me too.
favorite, but I liked it. Like
Yeah.
I think there were better ones. I liked Rogue One. Rogue One was good. But yeah,
Rogue
I've
One
seen
is
them
good.
all now. I did not. Controversial take here. I didn't like Andor very much, but
That is controversial.
I know. I don't speak it into existence very often, but now if you tell me about Return or Last Jedi, I'll tell you straight up. I didn't like that at all, but it was better the second time.
No, I really did enjoy Andor a lot because it was very, not your typical Star Wars. I would say, right?
No, it's very political and very
Political. Yeah, I love that.
grassroots. Like I don't know, like it didn't have, it's a break, which is it's nice. Like we're getting different things to start because there's so many things you can do. They go into different planets.
Yeah.
Like
You get a taste of it in this show. Like this show will have like your episodes like that are political. You'll have your episodes that are just war, right? Like this show will give you anything.
Yeah, and I feel like Mandalorian and
Hunters.
Boba Fett, yeah, they're very Western, and I've always loved Western movies because they're very outlaw.
You like the bad boys.
I do. I like the guys that kind of push the limits. Although I feel like Mando's a little bit more to his Boba Fett, man. He's lawless. Like he'll kill anybody. He didn't care. Whereas Din Djarin's more like,
We've went so off track, but I think this is done. I think this is done. We talked that. Next week, we got 3 episodes. One of them is, I believe, a standalone here, which is Shadow Warrior, which is going to be a Gungan-based episode. So I guess check that IMDb rating and make sure they didn't jump off the cliff there. Then we have Mercy Mission and Nomad Droids, which is a R2 and C3PO set of episodes. The week after that, though, we get to a 4-episode arc that people usually call like the Krell arc, General Krell arc, and it is one of the highest regarded arcs of the show. So really exciting for that one. I think you'll really dig that one a lot, but yeah, so that's what's coming up next on these next 2 weeks here. We get Shadow Warrior, Mercy Mission, Nomad Droids. Like we said last time, the chronological watch gets so easy at this point until we hit season 5. Season 4 is just straight up boom, 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 boom. 1 through however many episodes season 4 has, which is 22. 1 through 22, no problem. And then season 5 will kind of shuffle just 1 episode around. And season 6 is straight through, and season 7 flips 2 arcs. And that's it. At the end of season 5 will be the last time I say anything about Cartoon Network, because season 6 was all on Netflix, and then season 7's Disney Plus. So that's interesting. That's a milestone we're reaching in the next 2 seasons. But yeah, so this was 2011 that these episodes were releasing, still before Logan and I met.
Yeah, so, I was graduating high school in 2011.
Yeah, so in this you were in college because we were in like the September era.
No, yeah,
Yeah, so you
I
were
was in St.
starting.
Augustine. Heck yeah,
Yeah, you were starting some college.
yeah.
But yeah, so you can follow us at podawakens on all of our social media. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Like and subscribe to us here on the YouTube channel. This episode is around May 15th, so hope everyone's having a great May as we continue on through our chronological rewatch that'll take us pretty much all the way to the end of September, which is crazy to think. But hopefully you're all sticking with us. Friday, still at this point, should be dropping our Road to the Acolyte, as the Acolyte is not premiered at this point. Hope everyone is enjoying that series as we discuss the High Republic books, novels, and comics as we lead up to Disney Plus' latest Star Wars series, The Acolyte. Wish you all a great rest of your week. We'll catch you next time when we talk episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Season 4.